Good evening. So let us start with asking you a question. What is the very first food of life? It comes before any food or before water, and that is the breath. The breath is our breath of life. The breath in and out is so devoted to us. Every moment of our day, every waking moment, when we're sleeping and snoring and dreaming, the dedicated breath is still there in the morning for us. And so the way we breathe actually affects our state of mind. More oxygen goes to the brain, we're able to think clearer, be more focused, be more concise. It helps us, long, deep breathing, to regulate our emotions, to control the ability to be able to act effectively rather than react emotionally. And do we think that the breath is actually a perfect thermostat? The left nostril is a calming, cooling effect. The right nostril is a heat-producing, energizing effect. And this changes every 2.5 hours. So if you actually pay attention, you'll see that one nostril is open more prevalently than the other. And the way you breathe through each nostril affects whether you feel energized or you feel calm and relaxed. So just for a moment, take a deep breath and appreciate this gift of life. Today we live in a time of great stress. Everything is fast, and it's only getting faster. The gadgets that come out are so quickly, and we want them all, and we get them. But after a while, it becomes an overload, and we hit a gap. Now, how is this related to the foods that we eat when we're so stressed out? There are many, many things that we feel we must get done. Many times we eat, we're walking around eating, and we're gulping down liquids while we're eating, which prevents the actual chewing and digestion. And so we eat fast foods, processed foods, fried foods. Then we start having the effect. So our stomach makes funny sounds, we get indigestion, we're fatigued, we may have insomnia. And so what do? We may go to the doctor, they give us a prescription, then you have to deal with the side effect, which is more serious than the actual ailment that you started with. And basically, this is the state of affairs. And so we need to just think about how we eat, and even the combinations of the foods that we eat. This is all going to affect how we feel. Digestion and elimination. It is said in yogic science, a woman has 18 hours to be able to eliminate all that she has eaten. Otherwise, she shouldn't eat it. A man has 24 hours. 50% of the digestion occurs in the mouth. The other 50% in your stomach. So just think, this is a natural occurrence when we go to the restaurant. After we order, it's very normal that the waitress will say, "And what would you like to drink?" Okay, but when we drink, gulping down, it discourages actually that chewing process. And so right there we're losing 50% of that digestive process. And it's recommended that it's more important that we actually chew our food 10, 15 times before we actually swallow it. Even our juices, chew your juice. And you may think, well, how do I do that? So have the juice rotate around your mouth, mix with your saliva before you actually swallow it. So the elimination is very, very important. You could basically eat anything you want. It's the elimination that's the problem. 18 hours, 24 hours. If you're interested to know, how your system is doing, you could have foods, what we call a food marker. something like corn. If you eat corn or beets that's so obviously red, you'll be able to see it, and as you eliminate, you'll be able to determine within what time. So many of the fast foods, as we run around in our quickness and we feel we don't have time to actually sit down, the processed foods and the junk foods and the quick fast foods have so many chemicals that we're dealing with. In fact, not only on the foods, but even on the creams that we use, it's said that a woman, before she leaves the house in the morning, she has already put between on her skin or ingested 150 chemicals before she walks out of the house in the morning. But let's just look at the essence of even why we need to eat. We need to eat to live. Without that, we'll lose energy and eventually you die. So if you think about it, why do we feel more sluggish sometimes after we eat than when we started? Let us think about the combinations of the food that we're eating, or the allergies. Are we allergic to the favorite foods that we like? Does it cause inflammation? What time do we eat? Do we have our big meal right before we go to sleep? All this is going to affect us. When you have a big meal before bedtime, of course it's going to affect whether you sleep properly or not. Your body is tossing and turning, just simply trying to digest this food. So we need to think about the effect of what we're eating, the amount of food we're eating, the time that we're eating, if it causes certain indigestion or fatigue or insomnia. All these are signs that we need to look at and consider maybe this food is not really the best for me. A prayerful attitude. It's probably more important that we have the remembrance of the sanctity that we even have food in the first place. I know some people, they have a 100% perfect diet, 100%. If they happen to indulge one day or over the holidays, they feel so badly that they ate so much. They run to the gym and they work out like a maniac. It's all about balance. It's probably healthier. Go ahead, have your favorite piece of pie or whatever it is, but without the guilt, without the shame, without the blame. That's healthier than actually even maintaining this perfect diet, but you're out of balance. So the whole thing is keep a prayerful attitude and let us at least, before we eat, just within ourselves, thank you. Thank you for this gift of another meal, of another opportunity, for even having this food which gives me the breath of life. Let's look at some foods. We eat bananas, and normally we peel the banana and throw the peel away. But do we realize that so many of the nutrients are actually in the stringy part and in the pulp? So next time you have a banana, with a spoon, just make sure you have that pulp, scrape that, and also have the stringy part, because that has a tremendous amount of nutrients and minerals in that. Yogi tea is an excellent tea. It has spices of cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, black peppercorn, and it's wonderful for the liver. It's a natural pick-me-up without the caffeine. Ginger is great for stress. And so yogi tea is great in the cold weather. You could have it heated, or you could blend it in the summertime, make a frappe out of it. And please, we brought some tea bags for you to please enjoy and take as many as you like. There are many different medicinal and different flavors that you could enjoy outside. Also, we brought plums. Did you know that plums and prunes have a natural, a unique effect on the brain? And they're actually excellent if anybody is coming off cigarettes. It has a unique faculty to help with that. So plums and prunes, anyway, there are plums out there as well, so please enjoy. We suffer as a society from insomnia. It's very, very difficult for people to go to sleep or to stay asleep. If that happens, a suggested 8-ounce glass of celery juice, preferably organic and fresh, 8 ounces right before bed will help calm the system and help you to relax, to be able to go to sleep. If it's something more serious, you may have as many as 8 ounces 3 times a day. But remember, chew it. Before you actually swallow it, have it rotate around your mouth, mix with your saliva, rotate around your teeth, and then very nicely swallow it. Building the nervous system. We talked about the stress. Stress weakens our nervous system. We're frazzled. We're afraid. And so an excellent juice blend to rebuild that nervous system is beet, carrots, and celery. Beets are the color of your blood. They're a blood purifier. Celery is also to rebuild your nervous system. And carrots are excellent for vitamin A. Once again, chew it before you actually swallow it. If you prepare this, keep the proportions equal, either 1 ounce of each or 3 ounces of each, but keep the proportions equal. Raisins is a wonderful food tip. In the afternoon, it's very, very common around 4 o'clock in the afternoon when our energy begins to wane. We reach for a cola, we reach for a coffee, we have so many things we still have to do, but those caffeines are what we're craving. Another alternative is have a handful of raisins, chew it very, very well, and then slowly swallow that. That will give you a natural pick-me-up without the caffeine effect. So raisins is a great friend. Alkaline versus acidity. In a perfect situation, it is said to have an alkaline diet of 80% alkaline to 20% acid. And those things that are acidic are all the things you love. They're the fast foods, the fried foods, the junk food, the caffeine, the colas. And so it is recommended to have at least 2 quarts a day of water. Water is great because it will help irrigate the system and move toxins throughout the body so that they will at least eliminate out. Lemon is actually very alkaline. So have at least 2 quarts a day, sip it slowly. Each time you could put a slice of lemon. It's delicious and it's very medicinal. Let us talk for a moment. That's nobody in this room. But if you happen to know somebody who may have experienced emotional eating or food addictions, this is the common state of affairs. What happens is we get hurt in life, we get disappointed, things happen. We get emotional about it, we get hurt. And you hang up the telephone. Before you know it, you're immediately running to the refrigerator. Well, what does the refrigerator have to do with the news that you just had on the phone call? But that's the first place we go. I'm so freaked out, I must go eat. Now that is a hot energy, that urge. I must go eat. And what is it that we crave? Is it I have to have a celery stalk? No, not at all. What do we want? We want pizza. We want French fries. We want chocolate, pie. And we end up eating it all at the same time. And we're just consuming. and consuming without even thought, because we're emotionally imbalanced. And forget about the chewing, that's gone. Forget about the 18 or 24 hours, that's nowhere to be found. And you find the person, like on the easy chair, actually looking like they're in a stupor. So there's no way they're going to be able to eliminate within those designated periods of time. What happens is the fermentation effect. Again, this is in case you happen to know somebody like this. So this is what happens. We're consuming all this food, these heavy carbs, right? It cannot eliminate within that designated period of time. And so it begins to backlog in the system. The carbs mixed with the yeast produces a fermentation or a natural alcohol effect. And so actually, in essence, when you overeat, you're getting that same numbing effect as if you were to have had a drink. So this is, if you happen to know somebody, this is what happens sometimes by overeating. We're getting drunk on the food without ever relating the two. Sometimes you'll meet someone, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do anything. But if you start to ask a few more questions, food then becomes their numbness. Food then becomes their drug of choice. So let us for a moment just take a moment, if you feel comfortable, just let us breathe together. So sit with your feet firmly on the ground, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And now inhale deeply. Let's inhale for a full 5 seconds. Inhale, inhale, inhale deeply, and now hold the breath. Hold it. And very slowly exhale the breath out. Exhale, exhale, inhale deeply. Deep, deep, deep breath. Hold it. And very slowly exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale deeply, deep. Love this breath. This is your breath of life. Inhale and hold it. And now very, very slowly exhale the breath out. And allow your breath to be long and deep. And let us always remember that we are born of the breath, we live by the breath, and we shall die by the breath. And when we learn to control the breath, we become masters of ourself. Inhale deeply, hold the breath, and with this breath, may we ever remember this breath of life, the one common bond that unites us all, the unity of man. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.